It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, August the 1st. Good morning, Queen, with a crazy little thing called love. That reminds me, I'd like to start the day with a poem I wrote called Love, the Simple Impossibility. It's a... No, didn't write that poem. Sorry.
No.
Just
what
thought,
a tease.
Let down.
But maybe we should start poetry days. Maybe Thursdays should be our day to bring in original poetry about love and war and all the things in between.
Are they all
KQ
gonna
poetry.
Are they all going to be dirty limericks?
Yes.
I can win that one.
Hickory dickory dock.
You can do limericks. Zepp will go haiku.
Mm-hmm.
Tony goes long form, exponential. Whatever. I don't even know what you want to call that. Really, stream of consciousness. That's what I'm looking for.
I'd like to work on a sonnet.
Or a sonnet. Okay.
There you go.
And then I'll just come out and work the room blue.
I like it.
We'll just see what happens.
Let's hear it.
So as we plan next Thursday's poetry slam, let's take a look at the top 5 at 6. The things you need to know about today, Thursday, August the 1st. First things first, yesterday, Katie Ledecky won her 8th gold medal in the Olympics. That ties her for the most gold medals ever by a female Olympian. She won the 1,500-meter freestyle by a mile, it looked like. Today, Reagan Smith and Suni Lee, Minnesotans both, will compete. Suni Lee will face off against Simone Biles in the individual all-around.
Yep.
I'll watch both and be emotional. This is the first time these two young women have competed against each other. That's going to be pretty fantastic to see. Nothing. By the way, Katie Ledecky with that 8th gold medal, that was an astonishing thing. And I don't say this to take anything away from Katie Ledecky, who's an all-timer. I mean, literally one of the greatest athletes ever. But yesterday, in the coverage last night, watching it, they put up the chart of all-time Olympic medals, and that was her 8th gold medal. Michael Phelps has 23.
Yeah.
Right.
I just went, oh, wait, how did I already forget how completely insane his 28 total medals are?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
One of the announcers...
that ain't happening again.
No, last night went, the greatest American swimmer ever, Katie Ledecky. And I went, but female. Make sure you get the word female in there.
My God.
She's, and you mentioned the prelim. You were watching some of it here in the studio, the preliminary to get her into the finals, where she was so far ahead of everyone else.
Hilarious.
Someone posted something yesterday and said, look at the other swimmers. Watch the other swimmers from the wide shot. It looks like they're swimming backwards.
Yeah.
She's so far ahead.
It really makes no sense. And she's 27, by the way. She's hardly a kid. Might be her last Olympics. We'll see. But, man, congrats to her. Reagan Smith, again, and Suni Lee competing momentarily. I mean, within the next couple of hours. We'll keep you updated as that goes along. The triathlon did happen yesterday. The Seine River swim section. Oh, boy. Remember when we talked about they said the Seine was going to be, it should be clean enough to swim in?
Yeah.
I don't know your definition of clean enough, but what they swam in wouldn't be clean enough for me, I can assure you.
No.
There were several athletes afterwards. One said, I felt and saw things I never want to think about again.
Ew.
That's pretty much what you need to know right there.
And they swallowed a lot of that water. There was one, it was Taylor Nibb, I don't know if that's the American or not, was talking about, swallowed a lot of it.
Yeah.
You should take a cup out of it. Right.
I was one of the athletes said, they said, did you get sick? And the answer was, I threw up in the river 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
10.
That's right. Yeah.
10. Last time I threw up 10 times in a day, it wasn't because I was swimming. I can assure you that. Number 4 on your top 5 at 6. Man, Uranus is huge. I didn't realize.
Thanks for noticing.
No, not yours. That one up there. 4 times bigger than Earth. Uranus. I'm sorry. It's not Uranus. It's Uranus.
Oh, I've heard this.
Let's get this straight.
Yes, right.
The Voyager 2 has flown right by the 7th planet from the sun. There are new images of Uranus, and according to NASA, they've never seen it quite so beautifully and clearly, and particularly gorgeous new shots. And of course, they also want to remind everyone, as they do generally, it's Uranus. Uranus.
No, you're just making everyone less enthused about
I know. It's the only reason I like that planet in the first place. Number 3 on your top 5 at 6. The Twins beat the Mets yesterday to avoid a sweep. They do begin. Boy, right when you need the White Sox, they come a call on a homestand tomorrow. It was an 8-3 win yesterday. This is after the first 2 games against the Mets being outscored 17-2. In New York City this season, 0 for 5 with the Yankees and Twins. They've been outscored 39-13. Let's stay out of the Big Apple, boys.
Yeah,
Not
right.
sure what's going on there.
Exactly, especially this October.
Yeah, no kidding. Number 2 on your top 5 and 6, the NFL is considering getting rid of the chain gang. The most ludicrous thing still existing in pro sports today.
Hey, Ryder, would you like to rebut
I love
that?
There's so the suspense, the drama every time they run out onto the field.
Steve thinks you're a fool.
No, I think you're but the NFL agrees with you. They know that drama, that moment, it's an iconic part of the experience.
The crowd goes wild.
They certainly do. It gives everyone something to talk about.
I'll
But
tell you know what? Maybe let's just get rid of the NFL and just play it on Madden digital. Who needs all that live action on the field?
if you can tell me whether or not a Nadal serve at 136 miles an hour was in or out in real time, you can tell me if the ball went across the line for a first down. The chips, the technology that shows in of bounds, out of bounds, soccer goals, tennis balls, everybody has this thing.
Yeah.
The NFL could certainly bring that along. You could still bring out the chains. You just tell them what the answer is before. They still do the measurement, and then they say short or first down.
Right.
Whatever. But I do think, to your point, Ryder, I think the reason they've been so hesitant is because it's a big, dramatic part of the game, as silly as it may seem to someone, a cynic like me. Number 1, and finally on your top 5 and 6, if you own an iPhone, you need to run that software update as soon as possible. Apple issued an urgent warning to download the iOS 17.6. It says, hey, we're not even going to tell you why it's so important because we're worried about cyber attackers figuring out where the vulnerabilities in your phone are. If you have an iPhone, get that software update. That is officially from Apple. Do with that information what you will. Don't shoot the messenger, man. I'm just telling you what they're telling me.
Or update your iPhone.
That could do it. That's probably the smart play.
Yeah.
I get emails regularly that say, hey, you owe us $200. You owe me $17. You forgot to pay. That's a pretty regular thing. Never gotten one that says, hey, I got $200,000 for you. I'll tell you about someone who did, though, and it was real. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, August the 1st. I get emails all the time telling me that I owe somebody money. Most of them are not real. Occasionally, I will get the, hey, did you miss a payment? Whatever.
Yeah.
Because I still have a few things that are not on auto pay because I just don't want to. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
I trust like 90% of my life to auto pay and bank. And then it was like, no, I'm still going to write a check for that one. And I can't explain it. It's just a me thing. So when I get an email that says I owe money, I usually think that's probably not true.
Right. Excel Energy's always sending me crap. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. So what? I can't live in the dark? I got candles. But occasionally I get an email that says, hey, you've won $1 million or $50, whatever it is. Just click here, and I immediately delete. I don't even look at them. A woman in Michigan was going through her spam folder. She realized, I got a bunch of emails I haven't double checked, and one said it was in her spam folder, and the email claimed to be from the Michigan Lottery, and it said, by the way, hey, guess what? You have a lottery prize waiting for you of $207,199.
Beautiful.
And she figured, well, this has to be a joke, right? And then she couldn't resist. She looked into it a little bit more. And it said, because she has been playing certain online lottery games, they have something called the Big Cash Second Chance. It was totally legit. It had been sitting in her box for a while in the spam box. She had no idea that she was even entered into this possibility of what did I call it? The Big Cash Second Chance.
Yeah.
She was confused, looked into it, figured it was real, and then this is why I had to look at this story twice. Her quote was, "This win is so exciting and couldn't have come at a better time." That's an actual quote, which sounds exactly like a scam quote from somebody who actually thinks and says words like that, but she did.
I feel like this story has been planted by a scammer so that we all start checking. I can't remember the last time I opened my spam folder. This company we work for is constantly tricking us.
I feel like it's a fishing expedition from our company personally.
They get us so jumpy at this company. Yeah. They're so afraid someone's going to take over this radio station and make it better for us that they just don't. They're constantly scared. So I don't look in my spam folder. I just quickly empty it as fast as I can. God knows how many thousands of dollars from Liberian princes I've thrown away.
I'm still waiting for that. Hey, you got 200 GER here, Steve. Enjoy it. Hadn't happened for me. God, I learned early on in my when I started working with this company. Yeah, they love to send you emails that aren't real, and so now basically I delete every email I get that isn't from you, Tony, or Ryder. There's 3 people that I think if I recognize that email, anybody else, I just delete, and then if it's important, you, Tony, or Ryder will say, "Hey, did you get that email?"
Yeah.
Like, I'll go back and pull it out of my trash.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's the only way to do it.
I wait for someone to come in, a real human being, and say, "Hey, Zepp, if you don't do that training, they're going to fire you." I'm like, I've been deleting that crap. I don't open it, but so she ends up with 200,000, and now people are going to be diving into their spam folders, and scammers rejoice.
You're right. That's someone that could easily be a scammer who actually hacked into the Michigan lottery, actually came up with the 200 grand, but they're planting a big seed for themselves. Kind of like, and by the way, the flip side of this is, of course, a woman actually did fall victim to a really bizarre scam in Maryland Heights, Ohio. Started with a phone call from what appeared to be her bank's customer service number. Huntington Bank is the name of the bank she goes to. They got a call, and it said Huntington Bank, whatever. She opened it. A caller told her, "Hey, there's a fraudulent charge on your account." That's going to get anybody's attention.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to move some money to another account or it will be stolen. The man on the phone gave her numbers to a Chase Bank debit card and said, "Add this to your Apple Wallet."
Right, stop right there.
Yeah.
Now you've lost me. Now it's clearly a scam, but
you would think.
However.
But the reason this works, according to a lot of people who study these things, is when you put someone in on their back heel, if you get someone to panic, even momentarily over, wait, someone took money?
Yeah.
Their reason goes right out the window.
That makes sense.
Fix it, make it go away. Fix it, make it go away. And here's a guy very calmly and professionally explaining, we've got this handled. We saw this. We flagged this. But here's how we're going to keep your money from being stolen. People panic, and then they aren't able to focus on the part that rationally deals with problems. Check this out. It gets worse. She stayed on the phone with this guy, went to her Huntington Bank in Mayfield Heights, and she withdrew $6 grand in cash.
Stop right there. I mean,
then
now you've had time, though, to think about it.
Then she went to a Chase Bank. Caller said, tap the Chase debit card on her Apple Wallet at the ATM, transfer, and basically
she's an idiot.
She followed his instructions, and she put $6 grand right into an account she had no idea who it belonged to.
Yeah, she's dumb.
It gets real but again, hang on, it gets worse. She got home. The same guy, posing as a bank employee, called her via FaceTime.
Oh, wow.
He said, we need you to do a full body scan to verify your identity due to a failed transaction.
All right.
She told police she undressed and spun in circles on FaceTime.
Oh, I love her. She's single?
And she only recognized she realized it was a scam when she heard the person laughing on the FaceTime call.
Yes, of course, you idiot.
It's tough.
She shouldn't have $6,000. I'm glad she got scammed. I'm glad he took it from her. Mm-hmm. That, and guess what? She wanted to undress. She liked it. It was fun for her.
Until he starts laughing, then it's no fun anymore.
Now then you feel a little self-conscious.
Yeah.
Wish you would have... put a filter on there, on that FaceTime. The
director of that particular county's Department of Consumer Affairs and the Scam Squad said in a quote, just for future reference for everybody, your bank is never going to FaceTime you.
Yeah. No, they're not going to FaceTime you. Yeah, and they don't need you to physically go down, withdraw the money, and put it into another account. They can do that themselves.
They can do that.
And
they got little buttons and computers and all sorts of stuff.
I get the initial reaction, but then reason has to set in when you get into your vehicle, you drive down to your Chase Bank, you pull the $6,000 out. They had her jumping through so many hoops. She was probably just hoping, God, I hope I get to take my clothes off at some point.
If I get a FaceTime call from anybody not named named Gorman. I don't answer it. No one. Who's FaceTiming me? What the hell? Well, I don't want to see you.
Right.
What the hell's talk? Just call. Better yet, text. Or better yet, wait till we bump into each other at Lund's.
Yeah,
what are you bugging me for? Jeez, man. I can't imagine. I can. The only scam I could ever, I think, fall for, and I should say this, knocking on wood, it's the AI scam where they have your kid's voice. I can completely see people getting, oh my God, wait, hold on.
And then I'd be embarrassed to go, kiddo, I'd love to save you. I'm a little tapped out. Can you wait till the middle of the month?
That's the crappy part.
Yeah.
Hang on. You know that the 15th is a way better time to come to me for ransom.
So sorry.
But short of that, if you call me and you say you're from my bank, I don't answer. I don't answer phone calls.
No.
I mean, that's another thing. For screw FaceTime, I don't answer phone calls. Obviously, if I know who you are and you call, 50-50 I'm answering it.
Right.
If I don't know you, not a chance I'm answering that phone.
Right. Like most people, I think. And And then there's a process. I get it. It happened to one of my daughters when she was going to Mankato, Minnesota State down there. And so this was several years ago, maybe 10 years ago now. Who's counting? And someone called her up and said, hey, we're with the Mankato, the Minnesota State IT department, and your computer's been hacked, and we need access to your computer remotely. And she got scammed out of $500. And then she called me for $500. And then I came at her.
Did she really get scammed out of $500, or did you get scammed out of $500?
No.
Because your kids are smart.
Yeah, I didn't get scammed out of the $500. She was down 500 smackers when she called me. I said, kiddo, you've been scammed.
How do you know it was her?
Well, I didn't give her $500. I love my love is called tough love.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
This is where we learn. This is where you don't get to go out and eat Subway sandwiches for the rest of the semester.
Wow, I like it.
Ding dong.
I knew we were in trouble with our kids one day when our son Connell came home, and he literally looked at us. He goes, "Can you guys just try some tough love? I'm missing out on some. You're making it too easy for me." And I was like, "Wow,
Yes, for
thanks.
I mean,
that must have been a hard realization for you to come to."
Yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
I got my kids going, why is it always got to be tough love with you? What about just the good love?
I just want to put a button on the thought. I'm just now realizing I said I don't answer the phone if I don't know you. I'll put right there next to like antibiotics and vaccines and organ transplantation. I'll put caller ID right there as the fourth greatest thing to happen to human beings. Thank you. Whoever came up with that, seriously, man, I owe you. Yeah. It's August 1st. All kinds of things happen on this day back in the day. Let's look back. Oh, I'll tell you what happened on this day, August 1st, 1978. I realized Pete Rose was a douchebag. I was almost 13 years old, and I said, you know what? I don't like that guy, and I'll tell you why. Because this was the day his 44-game hitting streak came to a close. He was struck out by Gene Garber of the Braves at the end of the ninth inning, ending a game. He was challenging Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak, made it to 44, and then he struck out without a hit. And after the game, he said, with a 16-4 win, most pitchers will just challenge you with a fastball. They ain't up there inning and outing you, up and down on you like it's Game 7 of the World Series. He was pissed about the way he was pitched to.
And literally lobbed one in underhand.
As
for
a
him.
13-year-old, I was like, aren't you the douchebag?
Yeah.
What, you weren't out there hitting like it was Game 7 of the World Series? What's the matter with you? You're Charlie Hustle.
They wanted a gimme, I guess.
Yeah, I never liked him since.
Nope.
That's just me. Sad to remember, but important too. On this day in 2001, Corey Stringer died. He was 27 years old. The offensive lineman for the Vikings, carted out of Vikings practice. He had a temperature of 108.8 degrees. A tragic end to a brilliant career and a wonderful guy. The only silver lining of this is everybody across the world of football and in general sports immediately looked at heat differently.
Heat and hydration.
Everybody, all at every level, including especially the NFL. Suddenly it was like, hang on, water breaks every 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Get out of the heat, blah, blah, blah. And to this day, things like this, it changed overnight how people looked at, you got to sweat it out, And,
No, having played high school and college football in the 1980s, there were coaches that would withhold water breaks.
Yep.
As a punishment or an incentive to come on. If you guys don't hustle your asses, you're not going to get a water break. That kind of thing. That all ended.
We had a guy in soccer when I was in high school. A kid in soccer, August, 2-a-days, morning and evening practice. Before school started, but just fell over just like a tree in the middle of practice, completely unconscious, heat stroke, went to the hospital, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's weird. It must have been a one-off. Not exactly.
Big movie reviews, the latest news on rock stars, celebrities, and world-class athletes, and plenty of juicy love nuggets, too. We're heading west for Mike Evans' Hollywood Report on the KQ Morning Show.
Hey, good morning, KQRS. Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Steve, and Tony, and Zepp, and Ryder. Everybody, good morning. Boy, I got a big bulletin for you to start things off. Apparently, Tupac Shakur's family will file a multi-million-dollar wrongful death lawsuit against P. Diddy. It is apparently due to the police very, very thorough investigations into Diddy's criminal past activities. When I find out more, I'll let you know. Little Oscar scoopage with the higher ratings and the excitement for the USA men and the USA women's gymnastic teams, including a wonderful gymnast from St. Paul. Several major television sponsors who cut back their advertising just weeks before the Olympics have now bought back in. And a couple of other sponsors are on a waiting list. What could have been a disaster for NBC is now a ka-ching for NBC. Two more Olympic sidebars. So Simone Biles' husband continues to wear one of Simone's gold medals all over Paris. And he's also continues to get heckled everywhere he goes for wearing her medal. Here's a shocker for you, an Olympic disgrace. Olympic authorities have announced they will allow 2 boxers-born men to box 2 boxers-born women. What the hell is that all about? Some TV news. Maya Rudolph has agreed to appear in at least 7 upcoming episodes of Saturday Night Live. She's returning, but playing Kamala Harris during all of those 7 shows. But before agreeing to do that, Saturday Night Live producer Lorne Michaels had to agree that Maya got to write all of her own scripts. And he agreed. Oh, speaking of Saturday Night Live, the movie, all about the very first show back in 1975, will be released on October 11th at theaters. Originally titled Saturday Night Live, 1975, it will now be called Saturday Night. Now here's the cast. Dylan O'Brien plays Dan Aykroyd. Lamorne Morris plays Garrett Morris. Corey Michael Smith plays Chevy Chase. Matt Wood plays John Belushi. Emily Farron plays Lorraine Newman. Ella Hunt plays Gilda Radner. And Kim Matula plays Jane Curtin. The first host on that first show for Saturday Night Live was Milton Berle. He will be played by J.K. Simmons. One quick movie nugget. Despite Kevin Costner's Horizon, an American epic Chapter 1 bombing at the box office, Kevin's Horizon, an American epic Chapter 2 will debut at the Venice Film Festival on September 7th. I guess I don't have to tell you. I know Steve's all over this. Don't forget, first NFL preseason game on TV tonight. Movie news, movie reviews, and the best celebrity pickleball players. That's coming up tomorrow. Have a great day. Mike Evans. See ya.
The Mike Evans Hollywood Report, weekdays on the KQ Morning Show. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, August the 1st. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
It is August already. We are right around the corner from all kinds of stuff. The fair, a million concerts, the fall, the winter, and then before you know it's going to be August 1st next year, and we'll be going, oh, my God, it's August. The Olympics are raging on in Paris. I'm going to read a text from a listener. Don't forget four-time Olympic women's BMX racer from St. Cloud, silver medalist Elise Willoughby. Post, who's racing today. You know what? Thank you. I mean, we touch on the Minnesotans, focusing mostly on Reagan and Suni, the more popular swimming and gymnastics, the bigger events.
The marquee events.
A lot of Minnesotans involved here. And the BMX, I know nothing about it, but like so many events, I walk past the TV, it's on, and I'm like, hang on. And then I stand there for 10 minutes in absolute awe.
Yeah, no, me too. In fact, I was watching some of the BMX preliminaries last week and then went up to northern Minnesota, jumped on my mountain bike, and went over the handlebars.
Oh,
I went, okay.
Did you?
That is tough.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But that's so much cool. I mean, just everything about it. We're talking around here, like, just, I mean, not for the show. You and I are like, oh, did you see that woman won the race? Couldn't believe,
Yeah, right.
Just those moments. Just like, you can watch the Olympics with the sound off, and get just as much from it, if not more, sometimes, because just the human, the emotion you see on these people's faces, win, lose, or draw, it's just mind-boggling. It's such great theater.
Yeah, I just don't get a lump in my throat watching NFL football. I just don't. I love it. It's entertaining as hell. I can't believe. Isn't there a freaking game on Thursday or something? Is that next week?
It's tonight. Yeah,
Is it tonight? Really?
Yeah.
The Hall of
NFL
Fame
kicks
game?
off tonight.
The Bears and the Giants or something
The
like
Bears
that?
and the
who is it? Yeah. Anyway,
the Texans.
Oh, the Texans. That's right. Those two teams that slapped together Super Bowl contenders in the offseason.
They're going to get together tonight and play awful football. God, it's going to be awful.
It's going to be. I don't even think Williams is supposed to play tonight.
You know
Didn't
the worst part of the game tonight?
Yeah, they won't play.
Is I'm going to watch it.
Well, yeah, I know. I'll peek.
Damn it! I can't help myself. Show me adults who get paid to wear pads and helmets. Yes! And I don't want spring football. No, I'm not going to watch the USFL. Stop it, or whatever it's called.
Then Coach O'Connell comes out and says, well, we're going to start giving JJ some more of the... first team snaps. I'm like, that sucker's going to end up starting the season, I think.
Hey, man,
Look
wouldn't
out.
be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised.
Bring it.
Darnold is, doing his
He
best.
had his
But come on,
chance.
his name starts with darn. I mean, how good can he be?
I mean, we went through this with Dobbs, right? But after
Yeah.
you've been through 4 or 5 teams, if you were going to make it, you would have made it.
If his name was Sam Damnold, I'd buy in. But when it's Darnold, it's like, no, sorry, man.
Darnold.
Dangled would be better. Dang me. Get a rope and hang me. Down in Texas, speaking of those Houston, Texas, down in Bryan, Texas, a local news reporter is in a bit of a stir. It's not often you turn on the local news and they have to report on one of their own anchors.
Whoops.
Especially when, you see people like, hey, we won another award. Way to go, Kim. And then Kim goes, thanks so much. I love all my teammates here at WCCC, whatever it is. No, this is a little different. This is KBTX, the weekend anchor in College Station, where Texas A&M is. Her name is Heather Kovar. And they did run a story about her. They're trying to keep some details out because, you want to circle the wagons on one of your own.
Yeah.
Especially when your weekend anchor drinks a few too many margaritas, goes home and beats the living snot out of her boyfriend.
Wow.
Well, he probably had it coming.
She scratched up one arm, bit the other arm, and after the 12th punch to the face, broke his nose. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this is
Dude, get out of the house, go out a window, whatever you got to do.
He barricaded himself in the bathroom. True story.
Man.
I'm frightened.
Which I understand.
I mean,
because
you can't fight back.
You can't fight back.
No.
You certainly. I understand the thinking of you can't. I can't even imagine my wife attacking me this crazily, drunk or sober. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, if a woman is broken my nose, I might very well drop the whole I can't fight back. I mean, I'm just saying.
There comes a point.
I can't. I don't know. But I'm not going to say, I would. But I think he made the right choice because no matter what you do, it's a no-win situation. He barricaded himself in the bathroom. And it's not. By the way, I mean, good job, dude. Because honestly, he could have just made. All he could have done was make it worse.
Right.
I think he probably did the only thing he could do to leave it as bad as it is. It did stop there, but that's a mess. And I will just say, boy, if you didn't tell me she drank too many margaritas from looking at her mugshot, I'd say that's a woman who drank too many margaritas.
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
You just don't see skin that red that hasn't been out in the sun unless there's tequila involved.
I think she went for the worm there. Is she wearing a toga? What the hell is that?
It does look like a bit of a toga, yeah.
Right.
And just that
toga.
That red blotch is tequila laden. I mean, that's all. Nothing else is going to do that.
Watch.
Man, that is. Woo.
I'm working for a radio station. I'm doing nights in Aberdeen, South Dakota, and we do one of these deals where we all get on a bus and we go out and we see a band and we take a bunch of listeners and we have a good time. And the morning guy is a little coked up, and on the way back, punches one of our listeners in the face. And when we get there, there are cops there, and he's arrested, and they haul him off to jail. And they're like, Zip, you're doing the morning show. That's how I got to do mornings. That was my first morning job. And we go out in the next morning, and one of the local TV anchors does our news for us. So I pitch it to the news guy. Hey, I'm Zep. I'm in this morning. I guess I'm doing the morning show. And here's Chad with the news. And that was the first story he did.
No way. Really?
Local radio personality busted. I was like, all right, well, it's
What did the listeners say to him that made him take a swing?
I wasn't even. That was the back of the bus. I wasn't cool enough to be in the back of the bus. I was in the front of the bus. I don't know what happened, but apparently, just giving him the business, I guess, and a little too much cocaine.
Wow.
Cocaine.
Cocaine and tequila, and/or tequila. We'll get the job done.
I've seen a few. There's been a few moments where you are like, the last thing I would expect right now is for someone to throw a punch, but then it happens, and it's just like nothing goes 0 to 100 quite like that. Especially you're in a setting where you can see. Oftentimes you see tension building and building, but I mean, have you ever just wait, what? I mean, that moment of someone forgot the rules. There's got to be a few more insults. You just went straight to the punch.
Right.
Yeah, at a bar in Boston. We were going down to pick up some tickets
that's
for
Boston.
Yeah, right, in Boston. And my buddy, we're going to see another one of his buddies. I didn't know him, but we're getting Yankees Red Sox tickets. I'm very excited. Clemens is pitching. And for the Red Sox back in those days. And we go down there and they're talking and kind of chatting. All of a sudden, one person, I can't really hear them, but I see one of them frown. Fist of fury. Whack.
Wow.
And we're running out of the bar. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, I don't know. He said something. What'd he say? I don't know. But then, then it was like, what?
Said hi.
And he just, smucked him.
Yeah, that's also called just out in Boston. That's boy, those guys are looking for a
Hair
ruckus.
trigger.
Okay, great. Yeah, you kicked off the Revolutionary War. It's a long time ago. Chill out. I'm not wearing a red coat, okay? My brother Doug threw the most unexpected punch I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Stone cold sober, everybody involved, which is what really made it so shocking. And then we were so we're in college. We're both at Western Kentucky University, and we are at the Student Center. I walk in to go get some lunch, and I see my brother. I'm a freshman. He's a junior, and he plays soccer on campus, and he's kind of a big man on campus. People know him. He's tall. He's a great athlete, blah, blah, blah. But we're standing there in line at the cafeteria, and there's a high school tour group, a bunch of kids from a county, a couple counties over, and they're all getting their food. And so I grab my tray, and I'm just thinking, well, we got to wait in line. He goes, no, I'm not waiting for high school kids. And he just walks right up front.
That's right.
Which, as soon as he said that, I'm like, yeah, right, of course. Well, I got a class to get to. They're just
high
jerking
school
around.
kids, yeah.
But one of the high school kids at the front of the line is clearly a football player, and this kid's every bit of 6'5", 280 pounds at a time when that was as big as it got.
Right.
And he's in high school. He's wearing I remember Franklin Simpson leather jacket. And he's towering over me and my brother, and much thicker. And Doug walks up and goes, excuse me, and he just cuts in front and the guy goes, hey, man, we're in line. Doug said, I don't care. And he's just taking his food. And then there's the guy's with a couple girls, it's the football player and a couple cheerleaders, and they're on the big college campus. But I remember the kid, he put his hand on my brother's arm. He goes, hey, man, I'm talking to you. And my brother literally didn't even hesitate. He just threw a random karate chop right into the kid's Adam's apple. With authority. Out of nowhere.
Did he go, yeah?
Yeah, he just went, whoop. And the guy he literally grabbed his throat, and Doug said, are you done? And he just walked away, and I was like, my brother's a superhero. That's the closest thing I ever saw. And then we went and paid, and we sat down, and then he's still looking over, and I said, man, that was awesome. He goes, Yeah, but I mean, we got like 5 minutes. He's going to come over here and kick our asses. Let's eat. Let's get out of here. I mean, he was still realistic about it. Yeah. He was like, no, he's going to get his buddies when he gets his breath back, and we're in trouble. I'm like, oh, yeah, good point. I'm like walking out of the student center with a tortilla bowl and a spork. Like, well, I got to get out of here. Oh, crap. That was the greatest thing I ever saw in my life, though. I mean, I thought at the time. It still holds up. It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I would imagine, if I had to think about it, that kid tells that story probably a little differently. He sucker punched me, who knows what. But I promise you, that kid's thought about it every time he's ever walked into a cafeteria. Mm-hmm. Scarred for life, I would dare say. Yeah. We all have moments. We probably look back. Anything ever scar you for life? Did a moment ever happen that no matter if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, despite all the reason and logic you try to apply, your central nervous system just goes, get out, get out, get out. I'm sure we all have one somewhere buried deep. Let's discuss. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, August 1st. Hey, you can meet up with Woody and Leinenkugels tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Cub Wine and Spirits in Rosemount. You'll have a chance to win Leine's merch for your pup, Leine's paddles, and plenty of gear for you. Plus, of course, sample some Leinenkugels beer. Rosemount Cub tomorrow, 4 to 6 with Woody. I can't imagine anything about that experience would be anything less than fun. Certainly nothing scarring. I mean, you go up, you get a paddle, you have some you sample some Leine's, you hang out with Woody, who's a good dude. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah, unless Woody ambushes you with one of those paddles and gives you a swat as you walk away. Might be afraid of canoeing.
That could certainly do it.
After that.
I kayaked without a current the other day. That's given me second thoughts. I'm going to make sure.
It does come with a paddle. You're not tubing, man.
There was a paddle, but still, it was still more work than I was expecting.
A lot of work.
Things come up, things happen, and then you're scarred for life. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
We've already got a couple of messages, texts, and Facebook posts about did anything ever truly scar you for life? This is the kind of thing I'm talking about. This is someone wrote, I got rear-ended on a bridge by a drunk driver in 2021. I can no longer go over bridges.
Oh.
Ooh, guy blew a .27 at 2:30 in the afternoon. Almost pushed my family and me off the bridge. Crippled me. It absolutely crippled me. I think he doesn't mean literally crippled, but it just freaked him out. Mm-hmm. I have to have my wife driver get a ride. My body is fine. My brain simply can't handle it. Wow. That is tough.
Yeah, that's tough, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know these are tongue-in-cheek things, except for this.
It's a real one.
Suddenly it got very serious. But come on, man. Man up.
I have one that comes to mind, and it's not so much you know what it is, but maybe there's probably more things in my life that have a similar trigger. But music and for me, smells, certain things just bring back really hard memories. Yeah. I told this story a couple weeks ago about my family had a restaurant, and a guy came in and attacked our chef with a tire iron, and damn near killed him.
Is that why you won't change a flat tire?
That's exactly right.
Bum.
I won't change a flat tire, and I won't make blue cheese dressing by hand anymore. No, I was the salad guy. But this is. Trust me, this is, and I can say it. If I set it up, it won't happen. But when I unwittingly and unexpectedly hear "Tainted Love" by Soft Cell,
that's what was playing during the attack.
That was what was playing right after the attack. When when the whole thing was over, and I walked back into the kitchen, and I saw what looked like an outtake from a horror slasher film. Mm-hmm. I'm taking it in, and I'm kind of in shock. I'd never seen that much blood and like weirdness and stuff. Boom, boom. Sometimes
it's kind of a creepy song, anyway.
Got to gong gong, and I can, now that I'm saying it, I'm not like going to freak out about it. But if I'm like driving, if I'm in a store and that comes on, I kid you not, I see a bloody wall. I mean, it'll never not stamp that on my head. So thanks, Soft Cell. Way to go.
Well, they say music and scent triggers memory.
I mean, thank God it wasn't, Hey Jude or something.
Oh my God.
Or the national anthem. You imagine, I can't watch the medal ceremony.
Or Happy Birthday.
The blood.
Happy birthday.
Man.
Steve goes into the fetal position at all the birthday parties.
Pretty much. The Happy Birthday song.
Tainted Love. Well, there's no reason you need to hear that song ever again anyway.
Ooh,
I don't think. I mean, it's fine as far as one-hit wonders go. But anyway, Scarred for life.
Our man Wally very active on the KQ Talk and text line, has a text. And I took a moment. I hesitated to share this, but he texted it in.
Yeah.
Things that give me pause. Anytime I find a memory card and a camera, I hesitate. When I was about 20, I borrowed the family digital camera. Mom and Dad had pics from the previous weekend at Swing Stock.
Yes.
This is what he wrote. The foulest porn I've ever seen. It included my parents.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
I'm not going to. There are some descriptions. I can't.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm still in therapy 20 years later. I still remember their adult friend finder screen name if you want proof. No, we don't want proof. I take you at your word, Wally.
I wonder what Wally's kink is, because you come out of that with a kink. There's definitely a kink.
It probably
you don't-
involves memory cards.
Yeah. Cameras. A porn.
Did you remember the memory card? What's this memory card thing with you?
The parents and the sex thing. I could see where that might scar someone.
Man, that is, boy, that'll work. That'll work for sure.
Although, what was that old Simpsons Millhouse line? It's better to walk in on both of your parents than just one having sex. I don't know what it was, something like that.
Well,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, Dad. I mean, it makes more sense if mom's involved, I think.
I saw a woman about a story who's so afraid of bees. She was attacked as a child. She faints if she sees a bee. I mean, that's a rough one to carry around. My wife is allergic to bees.
Well, an allergy to bees, that just is a built-in. That's not a phobia. That's
No. But I mean, if
survival.
she just turns and runs. We had I've told that story about when we had the wasp infestation in our house. She definitely, when I came running out of the bathroom screaming bees, her face turned a color I've never seen before or since. I can tell you that. It's like,
I don't suppose you can just walk out and go, "Hey, honey, we have some bees. Just millions of bees headed our way."
Hey, so yellow jackets, those are wasps, and they sting, and they can sting you repeatedly. And, the bathroom's full of them.
Yeah, here they come.
Let's just calmly move along. Move along.
let them be.
Thankfully, a lot of these are really pretty dark. I don't know that we can get darker than the memory card with your parents at a swing stock. That's tough. Yeah, if you're going to swing. Once you have kids, you just got to keep, go Polaroid. Keep your eye on those photos.
I just there's all that fun we had before kids, and then you shelf some of that. You have the kids, and then the retirement years, and then you get off to the old folks' home maybe someday, and it's just all hell breaks loose. It's just an orgy of the damned. But while you have the kids, I don't know that you need to be. Maybe I'm just being a prude. You still got to have fun. You got to get out and enjoy yourself, but you're swinging with the kids at home, all right?
Sylvia on the Facebook page wrote, being in a tornado. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Been in a couple of those.
Now, every time there's a tornado, she freaks out?
I don't know if she freaks out, but she says it scarred her for life. More than I've been very close to 2 tornadoes. They were small, which, that doesn't really matter if it's big enough to be a tornado.
Yeah.
But the one thing, now that she said that, I'm reminded, I was in the 94 Northridge earthquake, and I've been in Los Angeles and actually once in Japan where I felt a pretty good tremor since. It doesn't take much to get me right back to the feeling of, oh my God, the world's ending.
Right.
That definitely that scarred me.
Okay.
Earthquakes are not cool.
All right.
Just a fun factor.
Unless you get them at Dairy Queen.
That's a whole different thing. 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line here at KQ. We have a caller, Tony.
Brian from Anoka wants to tell a tale.
Brian, what have you got for us, my man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for letting me come on. When I was 9, I'm 30 years old, so my dad and uncle were left to watch us kids for the evening while my aunt and my mom went shopping or something. It was like holidays, so holiday shopping, whatever, and they decided, we're 2 semi-skilled guys. We're going to make hot dogs and mac and cheese. And I had way too much, and I was puking later in the evening, and to this day I cannot eat hot dogs. And I'm slowly coming in recovery of being able to eat mac and cheese.
Oh, wow. Is that bad?
Yeah, man. That's great. Yeah, that's funny. You said, thank you for the call, man. That's great. There's some food scarring from my child. Now that I'm thinking thinking about it. Yeah. I didn't eat Raisin Bran for years, simply because I had a bowl of Raisin Bran. I walked away from the table for a second, came back, and one of my brothers had dumped like a ton of sugar into it. And then I was like, ooh, the milk looks weird. He goes, I just gave you some sugar. And then I was like, you put all that sugar in there. And then he did the whole thing of like, we can't throw food out. You have to eat it. And so I ate like 4 spoonfuls of incredibly sugared up Raisin Bran. And it really it made me sick. I couldn't look at Raisin Bran for years. And now that I'm on a roll, I cracked open a Kit Kat once, and I kid you not, like a maggot came out of it. And I didn't eat a Kit Kat for 40 years.
Kidding. That's a maggot. Well,
something. It was something.
That whole thing. How bad can you screw up hot dogs and mac and cheese that you scar?
Just great combo.
He said he just ate too much. Right?
Was that just overindulged?
That was a staple for me.
Overindulged.
Mac and cheese with some dogs in there.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a food that I wouldn't scar me. What haven't I not eaten too much of? I mean, lima beans, but that's on Dad. I wouldn't call that a scar. You just have to avoid. I don't miss lima beans. Peach schnapps. When I was a teenager, somebody had a bottle of peach schnapps. Well, if that's what you've got, that's obviously we have to get drunk. We're 14. Yeah. But I barfed up that peach schnapps that night violently.
I had that with mayonnaise. It was at some big buffet at my grandparents' country club. But I thought it was Cool Whip. On the buffet table, I took this gigantic spoonful, and it was mayonnaise, and I can barely touch it anymore.
That'll do it, sure.
That's nasty.
Was Tainted Love playing? Spring of '87. My one and only time ever tasting and then drinking way too much Jägermeister. Never gone back. Never gotten near it since.
There's one, for example, that I've drank way too much of and heaved up and just went right back to the well for some reason. But with peach schnapps, it's not just peach schnapps; it's peaches.
Well, sure.
It just kind of, the whole peach thing. A good juicy peach, I can dig into that. But peach flavored anything, no, thank you. But
That's
Jägermeister,
tough.
there are a couple out there, tequila, all of them. Whiskey, I mean, we've all had too much, and then, I'll never do that again.
Boone's Farm strawberry wine.
Boone's Farm?
2 bottles, yeah.
Oh, remember TJ Swan? Easy Night, they had all those flavors. Is that just a South Dakota thing? My mom always had a bottle of Boone's Farm in the door of the refrigerator.
So horrible.
When the wine coolers hit the scene, Bartles and James and all those in the mid '80s, they were everywhere. A buddy of mine came up with he figured out how to make your own wine cooler. Like you buy some sort of white wine, and there was some sort of, it wasn't Kool-Aid, but there was some sort of a mix, some powdered drink, powder, and then that plus some like seltzer, and it tasted just like he made them. And to my mind, it was just like a Bartles and James wine.
Probably how they made them.
It was, and it was like so much cheaper, and you could make a whole. So I went to recreate that one time with a girl, and I was like, well, it's just white wine. Doesn't matter. Just get some white wine. And there's, of course, all different types of white wines.
Yeah.
And all I know is this. Whatever my option was, I chose the wrong one. And then it was awful. It was just couldn't have tasted worse. But because I'd already spent the money on the 2 bottles of the white wine,
That's what we have.
I can't throw it away. I've already made this into a wine cooler. We can't throw it out. Come on. What are you, crazy? Awful. God, awful. The headache for days after that one. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Tony, who we got?
Couple of chicks with stories. First is Dee Dee and then Sandy.
Dee Dee, good morning.
Good morning. So I'm in Washington, D.C. on a work trip with an elected official who asked me out to dinner at a very nice Japanese restaurant with linen tablecloths, and I hadn't really eaten a lot of Japanese food. So they brought our plate of sushi, and I'm like, oh, look at that fabulous-looking mint lump of something.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Which was actually wasabi.
Yeah, sure it was.
So I took a spoonful of it, and I shoved it in my mouth, and all of a sudden, the whole world was on fire.
Yeah.
I grabbed my beautiful linen napkin and went, ah, and scraped the stuff off my tongue with my napkin.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's why you hate politicians to this day.
What did President Clinton do when you?
He saw that she was bent over in a vulnerable position.
Oh my God, that is rough. I saw someone willingly for a dare eat a spoonful of wasabi, and if you had experienced anything like his, I'm sorry, because that is brutal.
I did that the first time I tried it. It was out with a bunch of people. Many cocktails hadn't had it before.
Yeah.
Took a gigantic spoonful and it made me cry.
Were you trying to show off, you thought?
No, I thought it was the avocado.
Oh
Something,
my God.
I don't know. It was like, this is green and pretty.
This avocado's gone bad, man.
Oh, I cried. It was so bad. It's horrible.
This is
I
green
just wanna
and
hold you.
pretty.
Fortunately, the elected official just looked across the table at me, put his head in his hand and shook his head, and then just started laughing.
Sure he does. Yeah,
Can I count on your vote?
that's great. Dee Dee, that's awesome. Thanks for the call.
Have a good day.
All right, we've got Sandy on the KQ Talk and text line. Good morning, Sandy.
Hey, how are you?
Great. What do you got for us?
Well, when I was in my early 20s, I was in x-ray school at a hospital in town here, and I had the opportunity to observe an autopsy. And my my co-student and I went down, and everything was fine, and we're thinking, oh, this is really cool, until they cut open the woman's stomach.
Oh, boy.
And she had just eaten Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Oh,
boy.
specifically.
Oh, my God.
And to this day, and I'm 66 right now, so we're talking many, many years, I can't even look at a can of chicken noodle soup.
Oh, my God.
You know what?
What about barley and beef?
Beef and barley.
Beef and barley.
We
that's it.
fully understand that no one's gonna question that triggering moment.
Well,
No.
that's scent,
It was
too.
those little chunks of carrots.
Oh, okay.
Everything. She must have just eaten it because everything was still intact.
Sure.
Holy
Anyway, I
smokes.
just had to add that in because you're talking about gross stuff, and that immediately came to my mind.
I imagine it did. It would come to my mind most days, actually. I'm glad you made it through that one, Sandy.
When I go shopping, I just zip down the soup aisle.
Top speed.
All right,
that is
you guys
great.
have a
Thanks.
great day, and don't let the rain get you down.
Yeah, thank you so
Oh,
much.
God.
Thanks for the call.
It's like when they cut that shark open in Jaws.
Yeah, right.
Everything comes spilling
Yeah,
out.
I don't want to see that little Kittner boys spill out all over the dock, and it was just
my
a
God.
license plate or
Right.
something that was in there. And a half a fish.
A Louisiana license plate.
Yeah, Louisiana. Came up from the Gulf, just as I thought.
that is
Sandy
something.
wins. I
Yeah,
may
no,
not
I don't know if we
eat
can top
chicken noodle
that one.
soup again.
Yeah. I mean,
What the
seriously,
F?
I will think about that the next time I see chicken noodle soup.
You know those little carrots, those little cubes.
When she said the autopsy thing, it's like, now I can no longer cut a person open. But no. She came with the actual scar for life. So I feel like a pussy for the whole peach schnapps thing now.
We all have our vulnerabilities. For some, it's too much schnapps. For others, it's those little carrot chunks in chicken noodle
Just
soup.
laying in someone's wide open belly on the autopsy table.
Yowza. Hey, KQ up north with Hoffman Weber Construction. October 3rd through the 6th, we'll be heading up to Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. You can join us. You will enjoy a broadcast of the KQ Morning Show, a karaoke party, a dinner cruise, live music, and fun with the KQ crew. Arm wrestling with Zepp, maybe. Book your stay right now at 92KQRS.com. Sponsored by Hoffman Weber Construction and Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. We will have ourselves a good time. Make no mistake about that.
You're naughty.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, August the 1st. And as the Olympiad rolls along, we do have to remind ourselves there's a lot of great gigs coming up in the Twin Cities. August 9th at the Ledge Amphitheater, the Stray Cats. Ho! That is one hellacious live band. Brian Setzer's as good as it's ever got on that guitar. And we would love to send you to see the Stray Cats. Right now, we're taking callers 9 and 2 at 651-989-ROCK to play for tickets to win tickets to see the Stray Cats. Callers 9 and 2, 651-989-ROCK. Get on the horn right now, and we will be playing a game momentarily to see who gets to go see that hellacious three-piece rockabilly band.
I like it.
I I like it too. There was something else I was just going to say. And, of course, this is what I hate, is when I forget what I was about to say. Damn it.
Happens to me all the time. But,
Does it really?
Yeah, but I'm not in your seat. I just get to sit back and think about it.
Yeah, I was thinking that was just me. Man, that's a bummer.
Is it the chicken noodle soup in the belly?
Because
that may have scarred me for life, just hearing the story, Sandy.
It absolutely threw me off. It put me on my back heel for a second.
That does not happen to me on the radio. I've been doing this for a while. I do not get spun like that very often, but she got me.
She got all of us. Make no mistake about it. If you're just joining us, we've been talking about things that have scarred us for life, and we had a bunch of funny, kind of cute stories, and then a listener named Sandy came in and just obliterated the entire concept. Just know this: none of us will be looking at chicken noodle soup the same way ever again.
Kind of. I mean, I'm going to think about it. I got to be honest with you. I think I'm just going to stick with chili. Maybe a good stew. Oh, no, I can't even say that now without thinking about it. Or let's just move on. But worth catching on the podcast if you didn't hear it.
Yeah, I remember I used to eat at I told a story about the cafeteria where I went to college at Western Kentucky in the Student Center, and I used to eat on Fridays. They had this great, it was chili-like, it was a meat sauce they put on nachos, and it was a special on Fridays.
Yeah.
And it was a huge amount. Like, it was bigger than any other serving of everything. And my Friday lunch was just that nachos deluxe thing at the cafeteria.
Hell yeah, it was.
And then my brother Dave got a job in that cafeteria, and he'd been working there a few days, and I said, hey, so how is it? And he goes, oh, I meant to tell you, don't get the nachos anymore.
What?
And I was like, what? He goes, do not get anything on Friday. And it was just as simple as whatever meat or meat-like substance they have still left over for the final day, that's the meat sauce for the nachos.
Oh, God, it's the mystery meat. They just throw it all in the pot.
And by the way, this was at a time when we were in the 80s as young men in our 20s. We would literally eat anything. And he goes, no, you don't understand. Don't get that anymore. I was like, well, I'm going to have to take him seriously. We got a couple callers ready to play a game, I do believe. Is that correct, Tony?
We do. They're ready to play.
All right.
Bless them.
Stray Cats tickets on the table. What are we going to play today, Tony Lee?
Well, we had a barrage of requests to play this fine game one more time. Chris is Gianluca Busio.
Gianluca Busio. I'd say that would be an Olympian.
You are correct. Sure. Soccer player. Soccer. Football.
Soccer.
Mm-hmm. Tyrese Halliburton.
Tyrese Halliburton. I'd have to say that's an Olympian.
Basketball. That was an interesting kind of an evil cackle that you gave.
Well, I thought Chris was going to say, I thought the cackle was him saying, well, actually, as a college student, he did make sandwiches. I thought he was going to say it was both. But right. Yeah, he's an Olympian now, for sure.
Missed the Big Ten subs.
Brad Ringdahl.
That would be a sandwich maker.
That's correct. Wow. He brings the sub magic in Maryland.
That's amazing.
So when you're in Maryland, ask for Ringdahl.
I guess he's the best.
Chris, are you like logged into Subway's national HR? What's happening? You're killing this game.
Yeah, I've got some guys that help me out here. So.
There you go, a whole team.
All right, Chris. Samsavoon Muck.
Ooh, I'd have to say that would be an Olympian.
Yipes. Chris breaks your streak.
Dang. Where's Sansavoon working as a magic?
He's out of California.
Nice. Yeah.
That's Mr. Muck to you.
Ask for him by name.
Yeah, with the West Coast Mucks. Okay, your last one, number 6, is Omari Jones.
Omari Jones, I'd say that's an Olympian.
You are correct.
Boy.
Boxer.
Hell yeah, man. That's great. Well done, sir.
Thank you.
You got it. We're going to put you on hold for a moment. It's time for contestant number 2. Tony, who we got?
Our buddy Rob out of Minneapolis.
Rob, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
You a fan of these Olympic Games so far?
I have been.
Nice. Very good.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What was the last sandwich you enjoyed?
Oh, boy. The last sandwich I had would probably be good night. Just a hammy. Just
Yeah.
a hammy sandwich over the
Just
weekend.
a hammy? Oh, that's
staple.
never just a hammy.
It's a classic. All right, Rob. Well, it's Olympian or sandwich artist. Good luck, sir.
Thank you very much. Let's go.
Let's go, Hammy. Number 1, Sangeeta Chowdhury.
Chowdhury. I think that one's an Olympian.
Cripes, I'm
Of
sorry.
course I'm wrong. Right off the get-go. Let's get this right.
Sandwich, one of the finest sandwich artists in the company out of Connecticut.
Here comes the comeback for the ages, Rob. Get back on that horse, brother.
That's right.
All right, Rob, number 2, Peyton Otterdahl.
Well, there can't be two out of Connecticut. I'm going with Olympian on that one.
Correct, a shot putter from Minnesota's own Rosemount.
Yeah,
I
right.
like
We
it.
just
I like it.
Came up on the Google
Fantastic.
yesterday.
I like it local.
I got to say, every time there's a pause in the action and I realize that music is still playing, it just makes me laugh. This is just a soundtrack.
There it
This
is.
is an Olympic quality competition if I've ever heard one.
I feel the same way.
Picturing Chris and Rob working at, in anonymity in the gym, lifting, running, jumping. It's going to pay off one day. All right, Rob, you're 1 for 2,
that's
brother.
right.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
All right, number 3, Radwan Gamrawi.
It's easy for you to say.
No, it wasn't.
You're throwing all the hard ones at me, aren't you? I don't know. I'm going to go with Olympian.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sandwich artist out of Texas.
Of course he is.
Yeah, they make them big
With a
down
name
there.
like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Double-decker.
Let's we got to run. We got to finish out the side here, Rob.
You know what? I hope the next guy sucks. But anyways, go right ahead.
All right, buddy boy, number 4, Manny Zaptrap. Manny Zaptrap. How about that?
Good night. Is that the sandwich artist out of Portland? No, go ahead. Let's go sandwich artist.
Good call. Sandwich artist out of Arizona.
Oh,
Can't believe
good
you
call.
went with Portland.
If he had been out of Portland, we would have given you a point back.
Yeah. No question about it.
All right.
Yes.
Damn
Zaptrap.
good.
Arizona's
I
finest.
tried.
Number 5 is John Florence.
Okay, well, the one guy I do know, surfer.
You are
Yes,
correct.
sir.
Olympic
Wow.
surfer. Good job.
I like it.
And your last one, number 6, is Sevilla Blanc. Sevilla Blanc.
Oh, that name sounds familiar, so I'm going to go with Olympian on that one.
Good call, mountain biker.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Sevilla
yes.
Blanc, also a strain of weed. I smoked an extra once.
Well,
It's kind of harsh.
I guess they're known for something else then. Way to go.
Yeah. Rob, you went 4 for 6, which is a great
Yeah.
effort, my friend, but I'm sorry. Chris stumped you with going 5 out of 6.
You got
Man,
the silver.
That's a tough one. You were a silver medalist today, sir. So that means, Chris, you have won tickets to see the Stray Cats August the 9th at the Ledge. Congratulations. Gentlemen, thank you both for playing.
Excellent.
You got it. Right on.
Both great contestants.
I'm going to miss that game for 4 years.
Well, we can do it for the winter games in a couple.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we can.
Maybe we do instead of sandwich artist or Olympia. Next time we do mixologist or Olympian.
Yeah.
Some
Sure.
great bartenders from around the world.
Consider it done, Dr. G.
That's great.
Don't forget.
Pretty exciting, isn't it?
I can't wait for the Winter Olympics.
Last month in England, they had another Olympic event. I like to think of it as an Olympic style event. It was the World Championships, true story, for snail racing.
God's sakes.
The fact that it happened a month ago and we're just now hearing about it sort of rings true. It makes sense on the, as far as, if you're going to race snails, it's going to take a while. But yeah, this is a real thing. Snail racing, they put a bunch of snails in the middle of a table, and there's a ring at the outer edge, and the snail that makes it to that ring first wins. This year's champion is a snail named Jeff.
Of course.
Go, Jeff.
It's my friend Jeff, isn't it? An impressive time of 4 minutes and 5 seconds.
What do they go, about a foot?
It's just from the the middle of a little like card table to the outer ring. Yeah, it's not very far.
Got time to go get a beer.
You got time for a lot of things. Snail racing.
All right, wait, we have some audio here for it.
2024 World Snail Racing Championships, and they're off. 75's cutting across 48, 2 not far behind. And we have a world champion, ladies and gentlemen.
What were his qualities?
You can see his nice big tentacles that are sticking out, and he's just very keen.
How did you train him?
He's got a rigorous training program, and he loves his green leaves, so we feed him plenty of nice green leaves.
I'll butter him up and throw him in the frying pan.
I was going to say, best thing is when Jeff wins, we're going to eat him.
Yeah. Never had escargot. You guys?
Oh, yes. In Paris, actually.
Did you really? Well, you've got to there, don't you?
Paris. Good. Oddly enough, the first time I had escargot in Woodstock, New York. Not the place you think of.
Did you have it on purpose?
Yeah, it was.
One crawled into your mouth and you passed out?
Yeah, really. No, they said they had a specialty. They did a good job. And by the way, they were great. Loved them.
Mm-hmm.
They were fantastic.
All I can think of is the jerk every time I think of escargot. She ordered the escargot. Remember the jerk, Steve Martin?
Uh-huh.
Waiter, there are snails on
her.
Oh, yes.
Yes. How could I forget?
What's that?
Bernadette
Peters.
Thank you.
Yeah. She was like, go, quiet.
Such a stupid movie, but in junior high, the greatest movie that was ever made. I remember we had talked about it so much in 8th grade that our 8th grade teacher, Mr. Lear, a very severe man, the tie was super tight, like it was choking him, and he had the glasses, the horn-rimmed glasses on.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And we come in on Monday morning, and he whips those glasses off and lectured us for at least one period, for an entire hour, about our generation and we're the reason that we lost the Vietnam War or something, because he went and saw The Jerk.
Oh,
and
right.
yeah, and he just was like, there's something very, very wrong with you children. And,
wow.
Yeah, which only made us love the movie more.
Yeah, that reminds me, Father Glon. His last name was Glon. I don't know how you spell it. Father Glon got up one morning at Mass and spent the entire sermon telling parents, don't let your children see this new John Travolta movie, Saturday Night Fever. Literally. And went into great when it finished, my dad, who would never generally say anything against the priest in front of us, he was like, well, he must have seen it 3 or 4 times himself. All the detail he gave us. And then, of course, everyone just said the same thing, which is, A, well, now I've got to see that movie.
He sold a lot
and
of tickets.
B, if we're looking for Father Glon, we know where he is at night. Guy was a little too into John Travolta's. This is evil. You can't go to there. What's the one snail joke I heard? It's very simple. Something along the lines of, guys at home, there's a knock on his door. He opens his front door. There's no one there. He looks down and he sees a snail. And he's like, what the? He picks it up, looks at it, and he just throws it. Shuts the door. 6 weeks later, another knock at the door. He opens it, and it's the same snail. And the snail goes, hey, what was up with that, man?
It works.
That's it. That's
it
my
works.
one snail joke.
His name was Jeff.
Yeah, that's it, Jeff. Good work, Jeff. No, I love Jeff. He's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's got those 2 little pokey things coming out of his face. He's good.
It's a bit slimy.
We had turkey racing out in South Dakota. We've been speaking about turkeys. We used to race them. We weren't afraid of them. And then, of course, the goat races. That was a big thing in Woolsey, South Dakota every summer. You'd have to make us kids, much like they make the Boy Scouts, build the old soapbox derby. We all had to build a chariot, and we'd hook it up to a goat.
Are you serious?
Race
That's
the goats
awesome.
around. Yeah, I remember doing that.
I got to host the wiener dog races at Canterbury some years ago.
You know what's more fun than watching a wiener dog run? A bunch of them run.
Oh, it was so fun.
Man, I just sat around and watched Wide World of Sports on Saturday. You guys were living.
Yeah, we were living. weren't we?
Crap. That is rough. Hey, Slash from Guns N' Roses celebrates the blues with his new album, Orgy of the Damned. And along the way, he's also doing a tour right now, his Serpent Festival tour. They're doing a gig in Nashville, Tennessee, and we would love to send you. You can win a trip for 2 down to Nashville. You will attend an exclusive Slash soundcheck experience. You're going to take home an autographed Gibson guitar and his new LP. Text the national keyword festival right now to 95819 to enter for a chance to win. Festival 95819. Enter for a chance to win. Things that have scarred us for life. Boy, the hits just keep coming. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, August the 1st. The KQ Talk and Text line is 651-989-ROCK. Feel free to call or text if you want to share a thought or two with us. We've been discussing off and on throughout the day things that have scarred us for life. Some of these things that have come in kind of heavy. Some are just kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then there's some that are kind of both. Here's one. My wife is a nurse anesthetist. Years ago, she had to put a child on her that had been in an ATV accident. The kid was wearing Crocs at the time and lost a few toes. My wife never allowed our kid to wear Crocs from that day forward, as if the shoes caused the accident, or as if the shoes didn't do a job that a sneaker wouldn't have, in protecting.
Go with those steel-toed Crocs.
Yeah, but see, that's I totally get that. That's the kind of thing, like, I would be the same. Like, there's just certain things you realize, like, there's no real connection here, but still, just leave nothing to chance. It's like you're tempting fate.
Exactly. With overprotective mothers. First of all, I mean, that's almost redundant, overprotective mothers.
Yeah.
But I learned a long time ago, you can't battle that. It's like these new car seats that are going in here. That's new law that's been passed, I believe, somewhere around the 15th of the month. Don't quote me on that.
It's today.
Is it today?
It's today.
Thank you, Ryder. You got to flip the kid around. They got to be the rear-facing seat. So, so that's a thing. And I'm thinking, really, you got to go with the rear face? But what, am I going to argue with the mom that passed it in the state legislature? Like, don't do that. I mean, it's all right. It's overprotective, but that's what they do.
I'm unaware of this. So, I mean, like brand new babies face the rear already.
Yeah, but now you have to
extends the age to face the rear. Is that what this is?
Ryder, I didn't actually read it.
I didn't read it much either. I saw that it wasn't about marijuana, and then I moved on.
Yeah,
okay.
Right, exactly. I know we still can't legally buy marijuana in dispensaries that are not on Indian reservations in the state of Minnesota, but they're thinking sometime in for the tricentennial 2076 that we might have legal weed here. But now, I'll look it up, Steve. But it's,
you have to. Well, when you do buy weed, you have to put it in a properly state-regulated seat that faces back.
Yeah,
you gotta take care of that baby weed.
Yeah, I like it. I'm going to look up the law here quick.
Here's a text from Randy. My mom gave me corn one night. I hated it. The next day, our sitter made corn, and I threw it out in a napkin. So when my mom picked us up, the sitter said the sitter told her the story. My mom was fuming. She made more corn that night, and I sat at that table until 1 a.m. crying because she was trying to make me eat the corn. I hate corn.
Right.
And then follows it up with LOL. At least we're laughing about it now.
I'm with Trucker Randy on this one because my parents both loved corn on the cob, and all August I would have to shuck corn on our front patio. It felt like hours on end.
Sure.
It's hard work.
I never had a problem with corn. I did have a real issue with peas as a child. But you pull out that frozen box of bird's eye peas in the Gorman house, and I'd be like, can't do this. And my dad, similar to Trucker Randy's mom, would sit you down and just wait, and you'd sit there you have to finish your plate. You have to eat your vegetables.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere. You'd be like, I remember one time saying to my dad, I like every vegetable except this one. I like broccoli. I like spinach. I like corn. I started going down the list. And he was like, eat your peas. Like, okay, thanks, devil. Thank you, Beelzebub.
Yeah, no, but my mom was the one that came to the rescue. Of course, it's I've talked about it too many times on the show with the lima beans and my dad being the lone person on the planet that likes lima beans.
Yeah.
And force those onto us. But mom would let us, because dad eventually would break and he'd go watch TV. He wasn't going to sit there with you all night. And then he'd put mom in charge, and mom would be like, well, just go tell your dad you ate your lima beans.
Give them to the dog.
Yeah.
Man, that's brutal. Lima, of all the things too, to think about, all the things that we let come between us in our families.
Yeah.
And lima beans added to the list. English peas or whatever. My mom was out of town, and my dad made stew one night. It was like, I got to make some beef stew, and it was just chunks of meat and some potatoes and like 6 frozen boxes of peas. And it was like, we're just like, no. It's just too late. You're going to eat these damn peas. That's how it's going to go. A lot of the things that people are sharing with us, a lot of the stories of being scarred for life do involve food and drink, an awful lot of drink, which we all get that. I mean, I mentioned I haven't had Jägermeister since the first night I ever had Jägermeister. John texted in, 21st birthday. My friends got me very drunk on tequila. I am now 56, and I still cannot stand the smell, let alone drink it. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I told my peach schnapps story.
You certainly did.
I don't go back there.
Here. Speaking of food and drink not doing well for us, this is a story that every day seems to be a little worse. Boar's Head is now recalling an additional 7 million pounds of ready-to-eat products. They're meat products. There's a big investigation, a deadly outbreak of listeria food poisoning. Listeria? How do you say it? Listeria. 71 products between May and July 29th under the Boar's Head and Old Country brand names. That was there were 200,000 products recalled, and now they're adding to it. It's 7 million pounds.
Wow.
Ho!
I've got
Let's
some
see.
Boar's Head ham in the fridge right now. Had some, not yesterday, the day before. It's gone. I'll be getting rid of it, but not sick.
Here's a problem with listeria. Symptoms can occur quickly or take up to 10 weeks after eating contaminated food.
10 weeks?
10 weeks. Look into your Boar's Head. You don't want
middle of September. I'm going to be suddenly in the middle of the show, clenching and doing the penguin waddle out of here.
Oh man, that is rough. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line. Don is on the horn. Don, good morning.
Good morning.
What do you got for us, brother?
All right. When I was a kid, about 9 or 10, I used to go over to my neighbor's house, and the kid was served Brussels sprouts, and his dad was really strict.
Okay.
And one day he found the Brussels sprouts under the bed and made the neighbor kid eat those moldy Brussels sprouts.
Oh, come on. That seems excessive.
And to this day, I cannot eat Brussels sprouts.
I don't even like to smell them. I don't like when people order them in the restaurant. I'm like, could you get your Brussels sprouts?
Seriously, who are you trying to impress with your blackened Brussels sprouts? Thank you for that, Don. That's properly stomach turning. You've now scarred several of us here. Paulie, we have on the KQ Talking text line. Paulie, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. G. How are you?
I'm good, brother. What do you got for us?
Your pea story just reminded me of my sister hated peas.
Yep.
And when we were growing up, she would do anything not to eat them. And we were under 10 years old, I remember. She was 8, I was probably 6. And she had the bright idea to hide them in the milk. And then when Mom was looking, she got to just dump them all out. The problem is peas float.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Why hide them?
Mom took one look at her glass, all full of peas floating, and now she had to either drink the peas with the milk or eat them and then drink the pea milk.
The pea milk.
Oh, my God.
That would make peas worse. Those two don't combine, do they? Peas and milk.
That's bad. And
milk.
They don't combine in practicality and just the words themselves. Pea milk is not supposed to go together. Yeah, that's a rough one.
Not a good combination.
No, not at all. Thank you for that, Paulie. My brother Jim was big on putting. He would put food he didn't like. He would just put it into his pockets in his jeans. and then and he always said the trick is to remember when you take your jeans off. And of course the legendary story of my mom going to do laundry one day and then just I think it was actually peas, just pockets full of vegetables in the wash, and she was not happy about that.
Not happy at all. Here's Shane. Says that when he was younger, his sister would give him constantly spontaneous wet willies. Now when he hears someone smack their lips, he flinches. All right, fair enough.
Okay. That was my same brother who gave the dog a Big Buddy bubblegum stick one time.
Oh, no.
Let Rusty just chew a giant stick of bubblegum, and that gum got everywhere in the dog's ears, all over his snout. I mean, it was just, his whole face was covered with bubblegum, which, and then to get it all off, it was a real mess. And my mom was she later said probably an overreaction, but she sat my brother down and, honest to God, with a bowl of Gravy Train and watched him eat dog food.
Yeah, that's
with hot water to give it some gravy, make it softer to chew.
Yeah.
And he had to eat, he didn't finish a bowl, but he had several bites of it to teach him a lesson.
That's 70s parenting right there.
That's exactly what
That's
that
how
is.
it was done. Now they call it tough love.
You say it's
Or
not too
abuse.
bad. Have you had any Gravy Train lately?
I've always sampled the dog food before I give it to my
You
dog.
have?
Yeah, sure. Milk bones.
I did try a milk bone once.
Yeah, everybody's had one bite of a milk bone.
Yeah, but you just sounds like you went there often, Tony.
Well, it's a delicacy. Put in some lovely French bread.
That's going to be Armageddon, and we're sitting around. All we have is Alpo, and Tony will be putting on weight while the rest of us are
I tell you
emaciated.
By the way, speaking of Gravy Train, I was always that was just what we fed our dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I was obsessed with Chuck Wagon. Remember the commercials?
Yeah.
For
Oh,
Chuck Wagon?
yeah, the little tiny Chuck Wagon.
I was like, if we could just get one of those Chuck Wagons, I know Rusty would chase it through the kitchen and go eat his food.
It'll get away in the cupboard just in time.
I've never loved a commercial more than that. Yeah!
You're right.
Oh, there's the Chuck Wagon. It was great. 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. Who we got, Tony?
Our friend Byron is cruising Highway 10 right now.
Byron, good morning, sir.
Morning, gentlemen and lady. How's it going?
Great on this end. What have you got for us?
Oh, man. So when I was younger, we used to always drink Captain Morgan, when we were like 16. It's that old starter alcohol. We'd always chase it with Dr. Pepper. So to this day, I cannot drink Dr. Pepper without tasting Captain Morgan. And is it a god-awful experience, let me tell you what.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's gonna stay with you forever.
I like that.
I hope it goes away one day because I sure love Dr. Peppers, man. But it's just it's a crap show. Let me tell you what.
I like that it ruined Dr. Pepper for you, but not Captain Morgan.
Dude, I quit drinking that too. I quit drinking altogether 6 years ago, man. It was not a good look for me. Let me tell you what.
Self-aware. All right, you know you.
Huge building block of any successful life is that self-awareness you're exhibiting right here, Byron. Well done, sir.
Thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day.
All right, maybe. I wonder if you ever tried Mr. Pibb just to see if that maybe
a little subtle difference.
Maybe a little change it up a little bit. Hey, you can join KQ and our good friend Lisa Miller at the Keystone RV Minneapolis by Camping World in Lakeville. It's the grand opening block party from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday. Register to win a new RV and enjoy food, games, and KQ swag. That is with Lisa Miller. Keystone RV, Minneapolis by Camping World in Lakeville. That sounds like a good time. We've got your top 5 at 9 to get your day off on the right foot. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning. It's Thursday, August the 1st. We are steamrolling towards the later half of the year. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm ready to get out of the heat. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for winter. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we have all of August. September, I start to feel, September is the Sunday of summer. You know, that's where you know it's coming to an end, and you're going to have to wake up to, of course, I love fall in Minnesota. Hell, I love winter. But yeah, August, we have an entire month here of good times.
And here's the craziest part. The NFL preseason begins tonight.
That snuck up on me.
Yeah, the Texans and the Bears. It will be unwatchable, but yet we will still watch.
You won't know a name.
This will not be good football. It will not be familiar football. To your point, Tony, it'll be a bunch of guys who won't make the team ultimately, but we'll still turn it on. We'll take a look at it. I mean, it's just like, what's it like? It's just putting on socks in the morning. The idea of, hey, there it is. There's those sounds. There's pads and whistles and
well, it's a Hall of Fame
happening.
Game. They bring out, some of the old timers. There's some pageantry involved.
Yeah, man. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I mean, as much as bad football can be great, it's going to be great. There are a few other things we think you need to know about today. It is Thursday, August the 1st. Here's the top 5 at 9. The things you need to know. A whole bunch of new laws are going into effect today in the state of Minnesota. All kinds of things. There's new drug testing laws, apparently.
What?
Under a new law, an employer can use oral fluid testing procedures as an alternative way to test when drug and alcohol or cannabis testing that's requested for employees and job applicants. The oral fluid test, it's a test that uses a saliva sample to measure the presence of drugs, alcohol, cannabis, or their metabolites at the same levels or better levels as existing lab. You know what? I don't even know what this means. It doesn't apply to me. I already got a job.
Yeah, all I heard was that oral is now legal between my employer and myself. I'm excited.
Great. The Jetsons law, which is real. This is not something we made up here on the KQ Morning Show. The Jetsons law is going into effect. Minnesota allowing for flying cars, or as they call them, roadable aircraft.
You're never going to legalize them. Dimwits. They're like, we've got to put laws in effect a decade before this is even going to start to, become part of our reality. And you're never going to legalize them anyway because they might be unsafe.
Well, listen, all I know is this. When you say roadable aircraft, I think about the show Rhoda. That's just all I can think about. I'm just picturing Valerie Harper flying by in a Jetsons car.
Get in the car.
Here's what I think about when I think about our state legislature getting together and throwing these laws together. It's like going to summer camp and you do all these things and then you get back and start talking about it with your friends at home and you're a little embarrassed and go, oh, what did I do? Oh, I feel kind of stupid now. But at camp, it seemed cool. What have you done?
Yeah.
Well, we got the new child passenger safety law that takes effect today. And because I brought it up earlier and didn't know what the hell I was talking about, par for the course. Here it is, starting today. Minnesota Child's Passenger Safety Law will include birth to at least 2 years old, rear facing in an infant or convertible child safety seat. And then after that, 2 years old and over, you can go with forward facing if they're big enough, blah, blah, blah. You'll figure that out if you're parents. Look it up.
I hope so.
Yeah, look it up. Well, I mean, it's not like... my dad took the seatbelts out of our vehicles in the 1970s because they were in the way.
Isn't it fascinating for us? And we all, around the same age, have kids, and then the things that you realize our parents not only didn't know about, never thought about, never cared about.
No.
Things that we had, like when my wife mentioned to me that the kids couldn't sit in the front seat of the car till they were like 12 or a minimum height. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, babe, you can't, he's 6, he can't be up front. I'm like, what's he supposed to ride in the back? She goes, yeah. I'm like, oh. Well, I didn't know.
Get back there, kid.
Why I was up front as a child. The only thing keeping me out of the front seat as a kid in my house was more siblings. I was the youngest. But if it was just me and mom, right up front.
Calling it.
Put on your seatbelt, honey, if you want to. These were very different times, suffice to say.
Yes.
What else have we got? Number 4 on the top 5 at 9. Katie Ledecky won her 8th gold medal yesterday, crashing the 1500 freestyle. That's a long, so 1500 meters. Well, each lap is what, 50 meters?
30? Laps.
30 laps.
I mean, not 30 laps, but 30 lengths.
30 lengths, 15 round trips.
Holy crap.
That's way too much.
I remember like twice in my life, I'm like, joints are getting old. I think I'll go down to the Lifetime Fitness and just do laps. That looks fun. And then after I tried one, I was done.
Absolutely crazy. That's her 12th medal, 8th gold. That ties her with Jenny Thompson for most gold medals by a female Olympian. Michael Phelps, it should be noted, 23 gold medals. That's no one's breaking that record anytime soon.
What do you think of his new hipster look?
Well, you're Michael Phelps. You have 23 gold medals. You can do that. The rest of us can't. But, he's got that whole samurai thing. Yeah, Mike, I know. He's back on the geef, obviously. Yeah.
He's still got that thing. Yeah, he's got all the gold medals, but he's the guy that, he's not buying anything off the rack. Every time I see him, all I think about is where does he ever find a piece of clothing to fit that weird physique?
Sleeve length.
Like, he was like built in a swim lab. Yeah. What if we had a guy whose arms were this long and his chest was this wide and his hips were this narrow? I mean, it's like you just look at him, you're like, man, thank God someone put you in a pool. Because what would his life have been like if he hadn't figured out, I'm built to swim?
Yeah. He did the cover of Sports Illustrated with all 23 gold medals. Did you ever see that one?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he looks like a pharaoh up there,
Yeah, I would imagine.
Wearing a lot of gold.
Holy smokes. Have you seen this French kid, Léon Marchand? 2 gold medals in less than 2 hours. Yeah. He won the 200-meter butterfly and the 200-meter breaststroke. And I was shocked that he's got Phelps' old coach. The kid goes to he's French, but he goes to Arizona State University. And it was just kind of funny after he won some medals and he's on there. They're playing the French national anthem, La Marseillaise. He's singing. It's an emotional moment. And he steps over and they're like, Leon, do you have a minute? And he's like, yeah. So I felt pretty good in the pool. He's a college kid in Arizona. He speaks great English. Yeah. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, wait a minute, you're on the Olympic team, but your coach is an American and from Arizona State? Hold on. Yeah. And then I had to realize, I don't care. I want to see some good events.
In France, he's King Leon.
Yeah.
Leon.
He's doing okay for himself. Okay, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Old Leon. Well done, sir. Number 3 on your top 5 at 9, the Minnesota Twins, who've just been getting boat raced in New York for a couple nights, finally turned the corner last night. They beat the Mets 8-3 last night. Up until that point, they were 0-5 in the Big Apple. The Yankees swept them in June. Yeah. The Mets had won 2 straight. They've just been getting killed, but now they've turned the corner and they come home tomorrow, start a home series, thank God, with the White Sox. Always good to see the White Sox roll into
Always good to see the White Sox. It's just a harsh reminder that we're just going out there for hot dogs and a beer and, some light entertainment. It's not going to happen in October for this team. I mean, it's the Yankee thing. We just haven't got the firepower in the bullpen to get the job done. But, hey, let's enjoy some baseball.
You could do a lot worse. You know what I'm saying?
Can do a lot. Speaking of the White Sox.
And as long as we're here, just a quick mention of the fact that the AL East leaders are not the Yankees right now. It's the Baltimore Orioles.
Who?
Number 2. Number 2 on our top 5 at 9. Sad news for our dear friend Ryder. The NFL is considering getting rid of the chain gang.
What? The chain gang.
It won't be this year. They are going to be testing a new system during the 2024 preseason with the hopes that they can implement it next year. Something they call the Hawkeye system. Stadium cameras track the ball and instantly notify officials when a first down is gained without bringing the game to a halt for a chain measurement.
Yes.
Where's the drama in that? The robots just tell you. The stadium's not going to erupt in cheers when
I like that the kid on the show over here is out curmudgeoning us.
It is a tense, drama-filled moment when the 2 old gentlemen walk out there with the chain, and then it's like, where do I stand? Right here? Here? Or here?
Well, hold on. It's in the game because sometimes they got to get the chain to catch up, and when you're on the ball there and the clock's ticking, it can run a couple of seconds off. Either drives you crazy if it's your home team, or if you're on the opposing team, you're like, fellas, take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time over there on the sidelines. Get it just right.
We'll see. Like I said, they're going to start it in the preseason this year with hopes that if it goes well, it will be next season possibly implemented. I have a feeling what they'll do is they will know the answer before they even run the chains out. They'll just tell the guys, hey, put 6 inches behind the ball, put it on the nose, put it halfway through. They'll still have the drama, but they'll know the answer.
Yeah, right.
It'll be like Jeopardy. They were cheating the whole time on Jeopardy.
It's going to be okay, Ryder.
They were cheating the whole time on Jeopardy?
No, I was just trying to change the subject. I was just trying to get you off this football thing. Grow up. Oh, yeah, they just know all that information about Navy SEALs training.
Well,
Please.
Now we get to see that kooky new kickoff anyway with the start of the season.
Right.
Does that go in effect? The new kickoff rules.
I forgot all about it, yeah. Man, they will tinker. The NFL is a league of tinkerers, man. They just, every offseason, let's see, what 9 things can we change before the next season kicks off? Number 1 on your top 5 at 9. Today is August 1st, which means it's National IPA Day.
Oh.
India Pale Ale Beer has its own day.
Does it?
IPA came out of this has been something brewed since the 1700s. English brewers were shipping ale to India part of the British Empire for centuries. And they started adding hops, knowing that would increase the longevity of the brew. The beer will still be drinkable for longer, and then the hops preserve the beer for those long voyages to hotter climates. And then some people, it was sort of done out of necessity, and then people just grew to like the flavor more, and the IPA thing happens, and now you've got IPAs left, right, and center, and today's the day to celebrate IPAs. And if there's one thing I know is that Ryder will be having IPA after IPA after IPA.
Pour the keg in my mouth.
The queen of hops. That's what we call her around here.
Don't wind her. Yeah, don't wind her up. That's good to know that, all the IPAs that you end up, they end up in the cooler. They're in my Yeti, along with all the other domestic beers and some of the pale ales and the lagers and all that stuff. No one drinks the IPA, none of my buddies, so but they're going to be good for a long time is what you're saying. I don't have to dump them out.
There's a brewery in St. Louis called Schlafly. I think it's like a 2L, Schlafly, I believe. And they do make really nice beer, Schlafly in St. Louis. And I was in town and I met a friend of a friend, and he worked there, and he was like their marketing director, and he brought a bunch of beers down. I was playing a gig there. He brought some stuff down. Hey, love the band. Here's a bunch of our beer. Like, thanks. And they had an IPA. And then he said, oh, try this. It's our APA. And I go, what's that? He goes, it's American Pale Ale. And I go, what's the difference? And he goes, I don't know. I go, you don't know? He goes, it's good. Just drink it.
About 5 of those. I'm good for an IPA.
I can't remember which is which. One of them has 16% hops, and one's like 21%, whatever it was. He was like,
that's cold.
I just so great. He goes, no, it's really good. I go, what is it? So I'd never heard of an APA. I don't know. Just have it. Just drink it.
Open up.
Just enjoy it. It was great. It really was good. I enjoyed the beer. I used to like a lot. I rode the microbrew and the craft batch brews. And in the 90s, I was very well invested, and I loved discovering new beers and local beers, and I would go find the beers at different places. And it peaked. There's a beer from California called Pliny the Elder.
Okay.
And it's the most hoppinest beer. It's like made with rabbits. It's got so much hops. And I was told about Pliny the Elder, and it's rare, and they only make small batches. And I took a sip of it, and it was truly like It was so hoppy. It was almost as if it was like a peanut butter texture. It was just so strong that it felt like a thickness to it. That it was like, that's it, too much. And my taste buds revolted, and literally like almost overnight I was like, that Hams looks pretty good. Just get on that. Hey, oddly enough, Michelob Light, really crisp and refreshing. And I mean, I didn't want to admit it, but I was like, I'm tapping out of the looking for beers now.
Fair enough.
Man, that stuff. Pliny the Elder, and Pliny the Elder is he's like from old Roman day. It was a person from the elder, the younger.
Sure.
Pliny was in Rome. A philosopher or something to that effect.
Jerry Pliny.
Jerry Pliny, that was it.
Jerry.
G to his friends. And man, this beer though, and I'm sure it's great beer if you like that, but I just remember having like literally 2 sips and going, that's it. Macro brew for me.
All right.
Man, enough of that. It's pretty catchy.
Yeah,
not quite as catchy as the songs that Billy Joel writes, or Sting for that matter. Billy Joel and Sting will be sharing an IPA. No, sorry. They will be sharing the stage for a concert one night this November in Las Vegas. You could score a trip for 2. That includes round-trip airfare, a 2-night hotel stay, and tickets to their show at Allegiant Stadium. Billy Joel and Sting. Text the national keyword Uptown to 95819 right now to enter for a chance to win. It's kind of like the old, remember the Simpsons episode that came out? It was the week, it was like the day of the Super Bowl, and they wanted to talk about the game as if it were current. So they had Homer's at Moe's bar, and he's like, I can't wait for the Super Bowl and he lifts his beer mug over his mouth, and he goes, Denver Broncos. And then Moe goes, I know, do you think they can beat the Dallas Cowboys? It was just so great. That's my new thing with these promos. Text the national keyword Uptown to 95819 to enter for a chance to win. All right, we got to look back. Sports and music history coming up. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, August the 1st. And I just thought this would be as good a time as any to let you know, to let anybody know, if you are interested in having a baby and you need high-quality genes and the man in your life isn't really giving you what you want, if you're not thinking you want to reproduce with
Are you offering?
Exhibit A, I'm not. But there is a Russian billionaire who feels pretty good about himself. His name is Pavel Durov. And he's the founder of the Telegram app. And he has apparently already fathered over 100 children.
Dude.
He's young, wealthy, he's got six-pack abs, and he thinks that it's his duty to just offer you his semen if you're looking for it.
I think you're selling him short. I think he's got at least an 8-pack, maybe more.
Oh,
that's very true.
Ryder's digging on the picture. I mean,
my man
buff.
knows his way around a weight room.
Yeah, dude's buff, and he's got $1 billion, and he's going to be the bull elk in the herd, right?
It looks that way.
He wants to. Well, I mean, this is the way nature does it. This is how we create Ken doll billionaires, I guess.
He wrote a post. I was just told I now have over 100 biological kids. My past donating activity has helped over 100 couples in 12 different countries to have kids.
I hate him.
He said he signed up for sperm donations 15 years ago. A pal approached him with a, quote, weird request. He said, my wife, he and his friend said, my wife and I can't have kids. We have a fertility issue. Any chance you could donate sperm at a clinic and then we could use it? And he was like, well, sure I could, because I guess he's just weird.
Do it right here. Cup your hands.
Yeah.
Well, let's eliminate the middleman. Who needs a clinic?
Yeah.
Come over here, Sasha.
Where's the old lady at? Haven't you guys seen The Big Chill?
Thank you. He does have a young Kevin Kline look about him. Actually, he does.
Kevin Kline wishes.
But this guy is literally saying, first of all, he's worth $23 billion apparently.
But you don't get any of the dough. I mean, he doesn't pay child support for 100 kids.
No,
right?
it's
He's
really
donating sperm.
It's really not that. He's just working it into a cup, and then maybe you get lucky and get his grade A. It's funny. I just say that. I say grade A. And I just realized that's a personal story. I had, along the way, 30 plus years ago, had a couple of people enter my life that you would call now conveniently or more appropriately a stalker.
Okay.
They were fans, and then they were real fans, and then they were fanatic fans, and then they got weird.
How flattering.
Kinda. And then one of them sent me a whole bunch of things, including one day I was sent a box, and I opened it, and it had an ice tray. Remember when you used to make ice cubes in the freezer with an ice tray?
Some of us still do.
It was just an ice tray, and among other, there was a poster tube, and I opened that, and it was full of plastic little frogs. And then it came with an ice tray, and the note said, please fill this ice tray with your grade A semen so I can start the Steve Gorman Army.
Some Steve gravy.
And then the little poster tube full of frogs, I guess that was supposed to represent the little swimming,
zygotes,
Zygotes,
yeah.
And then also included in that particular group of things, there was a tuxedo shirt, like with the ruffle. Like you rent a tux, you have that ruffled shirt.
To get you in the mood?
I guess that was what that was for.
Oh, what?
And then the final piece of this particular package. And by the way, you ever tried to fill an ice tray with one? Oh, man, it took
semen.
It was days. Yeah.
I mean, sure. I've got an ice tray and an open weekend.
It was the final thing she took. It was a picture of herself. And when I saw the picture, I was like, I remember meeting her. It was a girl from Seattle. She had just gotten an autograph after a show.
Was she naked?
She was no. She was very chatty when we met and funny. It's kind of like whatever she was. I just remembered. Oh, that girl was funny. She had something to say. I didn't remember the specifics. But the picture that she sent was her standing in front of a large television. And in the background, we had just appeared on Saturday Night Live. And at the end of the show, when everyone's standing there to say goodnight at the end of SNL? Well, the host was Michael J. Fox. And me and my singer, Chris, were standing right behind him. And he's a little guy. So I'm towering over him, front and center, like for some reason.
Yeah.
And she had frozen. I guess she had it on VHS. So she froze my face on her TV and then was doing the thumb and pointer finger, I'm crushing your head from Kids in the Hall to my head on the TV. That's the picture she sent me of her like about to and she said, I'll crush your head, because I guess she knew I liked Kids in the Hall. That all
cute.
came. And so
quite a first date.
Quite, yes. And I'd love to say that was it, but she kept sending stuff. But that was the one that really got my attention.
How long did it take you to fill the ice cube tray?
Like I said, and this is in my mid-20s, and it was still a few days. Yeah, so.
I bet she wanted you to put the little frogs in the frozen cubes.
That might have been what she was looking for.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not really sure.
That's fun. That's weird.
I just got a direct
Artsy.
message on my Twitter. Hold on. There she is. No, I'm kidding. But that would be that was a weird one, and for some reason now this Russian billionaire makes me remember that, and that's a little it's a little unsettling.
There's a parallel in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
And you might say, that's a weird one to me. And I've thought about it before when you see stories about, people who have been conceived with donated sperm anonymously. They do at some point in time. There are moments when those people are actually able to access whose sperm was this, and they find their biological father.
What about the fertility doctor? Remember the infamous case of the fertility doctor that has 3,000 kids? I'm just throwing a number out there. It's some ridiculous amount of kids because young couples were going to him with fertility issues, and he was saying, well, we have some donated sperm here. It's all been carefully screened. Top shelf stuff. You're getting the top shelf here. And it turns out it was just all his. He was just going there in the back room, and he had, it's out there. I think there was a movie about it or something, but
sure, that'd be a weird thing to recognize or to realize, I should say.
So they released it all so these kids could find out who and it was regional.
I've got 3,000 half siblings.
Yeah, in the county.
Yeah. That's a weird one. I want to say it was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Only because weird things happen in Pennsylvania, I guess.
All
I'm not
the
really
time.
sure.
Yeah.
But boy, I tell you what, this is this whole that concept to me of one day you're a broke college kid donating sperm because you're like, well, they're going to give me $50, sure, or whatever it is, and some 20 years later, someone comes up and goes, I think you're my father. That would be, you couldn't help but feel. Okay, I don't know who your mom is. This was not the intent, really, but I don't know. I had a dear friend she was a single mom, and I didn't see her for a few years, and then I did spend a little time with her, and she had a 2.5-year-old baby at that point, and I wanted to meet the kid, and it was really nice, and we stayed friends for years and years and years. This was not my child. There was never even a question that it was my child. I wasn't in a relationship with this woman, and just meeting up with that girl many years later, I almost felt like an obligation, like, oh, I was your mom's friend when she didn't have anybody else, and I felt this like pull, like almost like a responsibility, and I'm like, I kept having to tell myself, wait, I have nothing to do with this. This is not. So if it actually was, if somebody came up and said, oh, hey, guess what? You're my dad. I'd have to take a seat.
Yeah,
it would take a minute.
I had a scare, I'll be honest with you, just not that many years ago with a, hey, I'm 18 years old, Sioux City, Iowa, and I'm like, oh, 18 years ago I was a DJ in Sioux City, Iowa, up to no good.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there was a moment there, and it was not the kid that contacted me, so it wasn't I'm 18 years old, it's my son's 18 years old, I don't know if you remember me or not, and I'm like, probably. And there was a process there. It turns out I was not the father.
Nice.
Never made it to Maury, but I had a couple of weeks to think about it, and it was weird. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to go fishing? Or, I mean, do I owe you some money or something? This is odd. But so I dodged that bullet, but and wished him luck. I'm like, oh, your mom was, if she was with me, I wasn't the only dude, I guess. I mean, keep looking.
That's scary stuff.
Hang out there on Facebook. Go to someone else. And that's how they tracked me down, was on Facebook.
Tony, what's the total number of kids you have?
74.
Right.
Yeah.
One more just for
in America.
Right. Oh no, I'm not gonna. Don't bring passports into this.
Right.
Just 74. Got it.
Yeah,
that's probably for the best.
Donating the sperm. Well, now they have like 23andMe and all this stuff. They can do genetic tests, so you can get yourself a pretty good one, I guess.
If you're feeling amorous, the old-fashioned way, where people just get together and create babies naturally, like not into a test tube and not for $50, but because, like, say you just want to maybe do this. One thing that I'm reading about, kind of similar, relatable. If you're looking to strengthen your relationship, you don't have to go all the way. You don't have to necessarily have a baby. You can just simply take advantage of what they call the 6-second kissing hack.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Check this out. The 6-second kissing hack.
Right.
A place called the Gottman, not the Gorman, the Gottman Institute came up, and it says 6-second kiss. A passionate 6 full seconds kiss releases oxytocin, the love hormone that helps us bond with babies and pets and each other.
Good stuff.
So a quick peck doesn't do it, but 6 full seconds, if you do that every day, you're going to feel far more connected to each other.
Oh, really swapping the spit there with 6 seconds.
The other option is a hug, but that's about 20 seconds of hugging to get the same level of connectedness you get from a 6-second smooch.
That's a long, awkward
20
hug.
seconds.
Yeah, 20 seconds. I mean, by the time you get a 6-second kiss in there and a 20-second hug, that only leaves me about 30 seconds for sex. I'm a 1-minute guy. I'm set the egg timer.
I was going to say, up until I was about 9, I thought that's how you had babies.
Right,
I thought a 20-second hug and a 6-second kiss and go get some diapers.
There's the stork.
Here comes that baby, man. But they do say, like, look, don't do this if you're trying to save a relationship. You know, it's if you're just trying to strengthen the bond. You got to do a little bit of work. You can't come out of an argument and go, well, you make me sick, but let's kiss. It's not that.
We all know the difference. You know, we've been all in enough relationships and in good ones that there's the kiss. See you later. All right, good.
Sure.
Maybe, hey, why don't you two kiss? Give us a kiss here for us. And you get like a couple of seconds. The 6-second kiss. Yeah, I can see that. 6 second, and, right, stuff's coming off. I'm getting fired up after 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Something good's going to happen.
I'm with you. We spent a good bit of time on the show today talking about things that have scarred us for life. I'm reminded of another friend of mine, and I would never in a million years use real names here, and she doesn't live anywhere in this area, but the truth is she was terribly scarred for life the first time she actually had sex with her boyfriend. She was a high school student, and not only did she conceive, he gave her herpes. First time.
Nice shot.
First time right out of the gate.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And living a wonderful life, but it was tough. That senior year was tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
That's jumping in the deep end right there.
Yeah, it sure is. I would say, I'm trying to think if anything about my early sexual experiences ever scarred me, but and I'm not just trying to be funny. Honestly, they were over so fast there was no chance to be scarred. It's just like, hey, we're not going to talk about this, all right? Okay, see you. I'll see you tomorrow.
She wants to meet another dude, so single mother, that's tough. Pitch for it's row to hoe, as they say. And then, oh, by the way, if that didn't scare you off, just one more thing. Oh, yeah, that's tough. That's bad.
Well, live and learn, I guess. That's what they say.
What else can you do?
So also on the show today, we did discuss a great deal of those scarring things, other things, mostly a lot of food and drink scarred actions, but I do want to give a quick shout out in hindsight to Sandy, who came in and really, if you missed any part of the show, the KQ Morning Show podcast is available wherever you get podcasts.
I'm going to listen back.
There's a phone call you really are going to wish you had heard. Sandy, let's just say this: the words autopsy and chicken noodle soup have never had more of a connectedness in my mind and my central nervous system than they did today.
On second thought, I'm not going to listen back.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I like chicken noodle soup a lot.
Pretty rough. Have we gotten before? I am going to look back here, but I just want to check one thing really quickly. Have we gotten an update on any of the Olympic? We were talking about Reagan Smith and, of course, the gymnastics going head to head today. And I'm just curious if I guess the gymnastics, Suni Lee and Simone Biles are going head to head for the first time, competing with each other. It's already kicked off. We don't have any results in yet, but they're going at it.
Yeah, the men have I just pulled this up. In the final, the U.S. has just won the men's coxless 4. Coxless 4, yeah.
I'm sorry?
The men's coxless four. COXLESSFOUR. The United States beat out Britain and New Zealand there for the men's coxless four.
It's a new group of eunuch superheroes.
Is that rowing or something? You got your coxmen in there?
This is 4 people propelling a boat with their sweep oars, but without a coxswain. Is the coxswain the guy who just yells at you?
Yeah, gives the commands.
Row. Coxless.
Hate me.
They're coxless.
Now that's what we used to call eunuchs, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
right. Just making sure I got the right terminology.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's for a gold or not. It just says completed rowing final A. So maybe there's a final B.
Sometimes it's best not to really know what it is we're talking
anyway,
about.
we whooped New Zealand and Great Britain on that deal, I guess.
Fair enough. In your face, Brits.
Yeah.
And Brit expats.
And they're doing the women's individual all-around. Oh, this is artistic gymnastics. What's the difference between artistic gymnastics and... I don't know.
Some of them have a ball and a loop-de-loop thing, and then some are just actually badass
right.
and don't need toys.
All right.
That's kind of how I see it. All right, let's look back. It's August the 1st, and on this day in 1978... Pete Rose of the Cincinnati Reds went to bat against the Atlanta Braves and struck out. The game ended with a strikeout, and that ended Pete Rose's 44-game hit streak. He was the closest anyone's come to Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. And boy, Pete Rose was not happy about it. 44 games, second highest in history at the time. And he was struck out by the Atlanta Braves pitcher Gene Garber. And when Garber struck him out to win the game, he pumped his fist and he jumped into the air celebrating. The final score, by the way, was 16-4. It was a blowout, but Garber wanted that streak. And, professional athletes, you're looking for anything to motivate you at all times. And it's like, hey, I can end this hitting streak. This is a big deal.
Especially against Pete Rose, not the most loved guy on other team.
He struck him out. And by the way, Pete Rose was furious afterwards because he didn't throw him a fastball. He struck him out on a changeup.
Yeah.
And Pete Rose said, with a 16-4 lead, most pitchers will just challenge you. He's out there like it's Game 7 of the World Series. I was 12, and I remember seeing that and thinking, you're a douche, Pete Rose.
Yep.
You're Charlie Hustle, and you're pissed off that someone else got the better of you? Nah, I'm not buying it, dude.
And this guy who took somebody out in an all-star game?
Yeah,
is that it?
100%. Ray Fosse just blasted him at home plate.
Yeah, in an all-star game.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Yeah, suck it. On this day, August 1st, 2001, Minnesota Vikings, Corey Stringer, tragic, died at the age of 27. He had a 3-year-old, very happily married young man who the previous day had been carted off the Vikings practice facility holding a temperature of 108.8 degrees. He suffered organ failure, could not be resuscitated. Corey Stringer's death was tragic. Although, if you're looking for a silver lining, it changed overnight the way athletes and coaches and trainers in all sports dealt with heat, especially in those summer months, and hydration. All new protocols from the NFL all the way down to junior pro level football. Suddenly it was like, hey, water breaks, shade. We gotta really take this a lot more seriously.
Yeah, it probably saved some lives.
Guarantee it did.
Because I, played football in the 80s, high school and college, and coaches, it wasn't that out of line for a coach to withhold water as a punishment. If you guys aren't going to hustle, you're not going to get any water. And that's, I guess, the silver lining in that tragedy.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.